So hello, folks. This is David Rawson, founder and president of the Canadian Academy of Clinical Sleep Disorders Disciplines, CACSDD for short. You've been following our biweekly webinars since last September. And as promised, we are enhancing our program by starting a series called Ask the Experts. We're reaching out to people that we work with in all different aspects of our dental sleep medicine practice. And today I'm very happy to introduce Andreas Klie, sales manager for Panthera Dental. The word Panthera you probably are aware of because it's a full service dental laboratory in Quebec City. But today we are inviting Andreas to speak about the DSAD, the nylon 3D printed dental sleep appliance that most of you are aware of, and some of you may in fact have some experience with. I've been using it for years and I'm very impressed with the service, the concept. But being an old guy, I didn't quite understand how this 3D stuff all worked. So we're really pleased to have Andreas with us today. Andreas, I'm just going to welcome you and ask you to maybe give us a little bit of the history of how we got into this. How did Panthera decide to do other than implanted dentistry? Because as you know, I don't have a general practice. So I was very excited to be part of this new age of technology. So it's all yours, my friend. Let's see what we can learn.
Well, thank you very much, David. Wow, that was quite the introduction. Thank you so much. So I got to meet David quite a few years ago already, and I think at the time, David, you were doing nylon appliances already from another manufacturer, and introduced David to the Panthera nylon appliance. And I don't have to say anymore. David and I have been friends ever since then, and he's been a great customer and client of ours since then. So just a little bit of a background to Panthera. We're a company based in Quebec City. As David says, we do many aspects of the dental industry. We cover many aspects of the dental industry, from implants to subperiosteals to, and of course, our sleep division. So our sleep division is one of those divisions that just really grew very quickly, and with the introduction of new products coming constantly, it's become a really fast growing aspect of our company. I think as the industry or as society realizes that sleep disorders are becoming a really real problem, we just found the need to get more and more involved in the industry. And of course, with the nylon appliances that we already had since 2006, we just developed and evolved from those first generation appliances. So as of today, we have 2 appliances. Until recently, we only had the one. It was the DSAD, which is now called the Panthera Classic. And we've just very recently added our second appliance, which is the X3, the Panthera X3. It's a first nylon dorsal appliance. So that has been our latest addition to our family.
Excellent. Perhaps I think from a personal perspective, when I was introduced to nylon, that was very strange because we in dentistry like hard things: steel, acrylic, titanium, of course. And I guess I was a little leery myself about the durability of nylon, the strength of it. I did have some experience previous to meeting you, but can you speak to, because I have a lot of colleagues who just can't quite wrap their head around how a piece of nylon can work so well in the mouth, because it does.
Right. So yeah, the nylon is quite a unique product, quite a unique material. So the nylon we use is a type 12 natural polyamide. And the beauty of the nylon is, as you know, we're able to make the appliance extremely small and delicate, which is obvious for the patient. It's a comfort. But just the way that the nylon is put together, the way the nylon is structured, we're able to make it a really small and low profile appliance, but keeping the strength. So it's really the nature of the nylon that makes it the way it is. So the beauty of it is it's pliable. In the mouth, I mean, we know that nothing in the mouth is rigid. So there is movement in the mouth. So having that flexibility of the nylon and not anything that's very rigid, it also leads to the longevity of the appliance, because when you have something rigid and it moves in the mouth, there's a breakage. So if you take, for example, the nylon compared to an acrylic appliance, when the acrylic is rigid, when there is movement, it's going to break. Whereas with the nylon, because of the give, there's that flexibility, and therefore you have the durability of the appliance.
Right. One of the drawbacks that I learned very quickly when nylon was introduced is that, unlike everything else in dentistry, we can't repair it or add to it. We can't increase vertical, that sort of thing. I know that you know that I have a technique where I use a lot of vertical and then reduce it. But can you speak to that as a deterrent for dentists who maybe aren't quite sure how they could make it bigger without starting all over again? Because that's clearly the problem with it's basically a one-shot process, correct?
That's correct, David. So yes, you're very right. And I mean, we've had experience with your own appliances. I mean, because of the way that you take the bite with a phonetic bite, we know that right off the bat, we've got a very high vertical opening, which is great because you're able to reduce that vertical height. Now, as you mentioned, the problem with nylon is you cannot add to it. So really the only choice for increasing vertical is to really make a second appliance after the fact and open that vertical. However, having said that, this is an evolving, I mean, we're always evolving, we're always getting new developments. So we are working on a system where we are able to open the vertical. This has been in a process for a while already, but I think just with everything that's happening so quickly, there's so many new developments. This has not sort of been one of our first and foremost priorities, but to let you know that there is a plan in place right now, and there is a research and development program in place to work on having a way of opening that vertical on the appliances.
Is it appropriate to ask you how many DSATs you may have manufactured since you started?
It's going to be in the thousands, but the exact number, I'm sorry, I don't know. I really don't know. I really have no idea.
And is it being sold only in Canada, or are you North America?
No, so we are predominantly in US and Canada. We have just very recently opened an office in France. We have an office in the UK, and we have an office in Germany. So our distribution has become a lot more global. And you know, with this global market, so we're distributing pretty much worldwide, but our main distribution is in North America at this stage, but the European market is really growing. And obviously it's a different market, but
yeah,
it's
carry
growing.
on.
No, sorry.
What are the drawbacks for you as a manufacturer? I know it's a very expensive and intensive process. Are you experiencing problems with raw materials? What's the outlook for nylon as a substrate? Is that a problem?
Not at all. So I mean, the material itself, as far as getting the material, it's absolutely no issue. In fact, with the way that our production is set up now, I mean, all the systems, we're a 4.0 manufacturing facility, so everything is robotic. There's very little human intervention in the whole process. So everything is set up, and from getting the materials and getting the cases out to clients, everything, there are no more barriers. I mean, whether we talk about Europe or talk about North America, you're in London, we're in Quebec City. Today everything's overnight. So everything works really seamless.
So the world has been shrunk down to a UPS truck.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or FedEx, or the courier of your choice.
Yeah.
As you've implied, and as people can tell from the color of my hair, I'm an old guy, and I got dragged into this computer world, kicking and screaming. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Point for you. And I'm still an alginate kind of guy who pours the models and sends them to you. What percentage of your cases are digital versus the analog school of thought that we've had for many years?
Right. So, and just to go right off, so to get to that point, we accept both workflows, analog and digital. Initially, it was only analog. And as the technology advanced, I mean, obviously more and more dentists had invested in the technology to go digital. I'm going to say at this point, I'm going to say probably 70% is digital and 30% is analog. And there's pros and cons to both of them, right? I mean, with the analog workflow, I mean, from a dentist perspective, if they don't want to make that investment in a type of technology, they still have that option to go the analog. So we're really catering for both workflows.
This is a personal question because I haven't investigated it much, but technology changes so quickly. If a young dentist wanted to start out but wasn't certain of the long-term viability of digital, are we coming to some core? Is there going to be a certain software that's going to dominate like Microsoft did with computers? Or if I buy something, do I have to rebuy it in 3 years because Panthera's equipment doesn't talk to mine? An analog is you put a chunk of stone in the box and it gets there. As long as it doesn't get broken, it's as good as the impression you took in the mouth. So where's that going? And you know, do we have to worry about technology that may, you know, be obsolete too soon?
Yeah. Well, you know, David, I mean, with any type of new technology, it becomes obsolete at some time, right? There's just no getting away from it. Now, to the question is digital going to become obsolete? Absolutely not. We see it in the industry, not only in the sleep, but in the whole dental industry. I mean, digital is really fast growing and it's become, I'd say, a more dominant workflow in the industry. So for any dentist that's wanting to get into the digital side of dentistry, I mean, do your homework. There are many systems out there. What I can say is from Panthera's perspective, we work on an STL file format. So all of these new systems all have an STL output. So we are compatible with any system that has an STL output. So that's not an issue. The issue for the dentist should really be more about the technical support you're getting from your scanner company. The after sales service you're getting from the company, that's important. And what are you going to use the system for, right? And so those are the questions they need to ask themselves.
Correct. Okay, thank you. What kinds of problems are you seeing with the digital workflow? Are there a number of times the impression isn't accurate? Do you have to go back to the office?
So as with any system, of course, there's never a 100% foolproof system. With the digital, what we found is it's predominantly user error. And, you know, there's a learning curve in any technology. You know, whether you're taking an impression or whether you're doing a digital impression, most of the times what we're finding especially in intraoral scans is that they're not capturing enough of the gingiva below the gingival margin. They're not capturing, let's say, for example, far enough into the posterior, you know, where we have the triangles to connect it to appliances. So these are really user errors. So those are the main issues that we found, is just incomplete scans or not enough information on the scans. Some of the scanners are better than others, of course, and just the quality of the scan, you know, because what happens is when you're scanning, the file gets bigger and bigger as you start scanning. So what happens is sometimes they go over a certain place where they've missed a scan, go over it, and the file becomes way too big and it starts overlapping. So we just get a really inconsistent scan. So those are our main factor, the main concerns we have with some of the scans we're getting.
And as you and I have experienced today, just with trying to have a Zoom meeting, I'm thinking of colleagues in a rural area that may not have a very robust internet connection. Is there a minimum requirement for outflow up to Quebec City?
It's not to send the file. It's really so. As you know, David, to send anything to us is extremely simple. So there's two aspects to this: is your scanning and the saving of the file in your practice. Once the file is saved, you know, it really doesn't matter what I mean, obviously, if you have a dial-up, which I'm sure nobody has
Ooh.
anymore, but other than that, I mean, everything's
Right.
done on the Panthera, off the Panthera website order portal. And once you've created the order, it's a download your file, and the files aren't very big. It's done over the internet. So if you're able to download YouTube and Google, you'll be okay.
Okay, that's good. I want to focus now a little bit on the product itself. Again, assuming we have a lot of colleagues who are tipping their toes into this, have there been any concerns or any reported issues with nylon itself as a product because it's brand new? Any medical problems, any allergies, any problems in that regard?
No, so the nylon, I'd say, is probably one of the most biocompatible materials on the market.
Okay.
No allergies, no allergies. What we have found is the cleaning solution that some of the patients use, that there may be a reaction not to the appliance but to the patient. So we have found that, you know, because what we did initially is we sent a starter kit cleaning solution. Some of the patients had reactions to that solution, but very few. But to the nylon itself, no.
Yeah, I believe I reported one of those myself. You're talking about Novodent, I believe.
Correct. Yes. Correct.
Now that was invented by a Quebec company, I believe, as a denture cleaner. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah. It's a great product. It's a great product, but you know, David, as you know, what works for 90%, you may have one person and has a reaction to it, right?
Right. Probably especially because of COVID, but so many patients are so germophobic. They want to clean it with everything. The morning they take it out, they brush it, they, you know, polydent the whole thing. And I just go, no. Here's a little pack of Novodent, and here's where you buy it.
Yeah.
And I think you've walked me through a few cases where, in fact, people would come back with calculus in it and they forgot to use Novodent. So is that like the wonder cleaner for nylon and replacing polydent sort of thing?
It is. So we've experimented with various cleaners, and Novodent we've found has been the best one. Even if the appliance gets slightly discolored or there's a buildup of anything on that appliance, just one dip in the Novodent and it's pure white again. You know, it may sound like an old washing powder ad, but you know, you dip it, but it really does bring the appliance back to its original white color.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us about the sleep appliances, where you're going? You've mentioned you're launching a new one, but in terms of the future, are we staying the course, or is there some magical revolution that you can't tell me here today? But, and I know competition is terrible. I mean, every company's struggling, trying to get a better product, and patents all the deal. But is this a safe place to be parking ourselves for a while?
Absolutely. So as far as, I mean, we're always looking for improvements on anything, on any of our products, be it sleep or any of the other products. But as far as the product choices we have right now, David, we're pretty much covering every eventuality that a doctor may want. So we have which was originally called the DSAD, it's now called the Panthera Classic, which is a rod connected appliance so that's a traction force. And then of course, the latest one that we've actually brought to market already is the X3, which is a dorsal appliance. So what we've done with that is we've really created a one-stop shop. But there are dentists, of course, who like dorsal appliances. You know, that's the push traction. Others like the push force. Others like the traction. So really, within one company now, you have every type of appliance that you really need.
Excellent. What I would like to do now is take us into a slightly different area that I wouldn't say I forced Panthera to get into, but as a TMJ guy, all I do is make appliances for grinders and clenchers and sleep appliances, and people still break these things. And so I'm very pleased and excited to report that I've worked with your folks, and we're now using nylon for night guards, and we haven't had one break. I think it's because it's flexible, not as brittle as acrylic would be. And it's amazing. I keep saying it's amazing, but you know, the only thing people don't like is, why is it so white? Well, it doesn't come in colors, but
Right.
I mean, that's something that I know you're manufacturing, but for dentists who are thinking about breaking appliances, this seems to be another flexible option that so far, dogs are the only problem. It seems dogs eat these things or people leave them somewhere. So talk to us a little bit about the night guards and where you're going with that.
Yeah, so the night guards was a really exciting launch for us. I think there's not a single dentist that I know of that doesn't do night guards. And one of the biggest problems with night guards is breakage. I mean, we're treating a particular condition, clenching, bruxism, which is really conducive to breaking appliances. And most of the appliances are either vacuum formed or acrylic. So there's really no strength in any of those products. So what we did is we looked at the DSAD and we said, well, you know what, the DSAD stands up. And as you know, David, I mean, a person with apnea is inherently a bruxer as well, right?
Right.
So having stood up to those forces, we said, well, what about if we did night guards in the same material? And that's how the whole concept came about. So yes, so we launched the night guards about 6 months ago, and they've been extremely successful, simply because of the fact that they're nylon, they're small. We've got, as you know, we've got different options. So we can have either an upper night guard, a lower night guard. We have the permissive splints. So we have an upper and a lower night guard, and we have a very special night guard that we do for David Rawson, which we refer to as the neuro guard, where we actually separate the midline of the upper. Right. And so this has taken us into a whole new avenue of the dental industry. And so far, the response to the nylon night guards have been phenomenal. And just to add to that, any night guard covered by a 3-year warranty is almost unheard of.
Right. As it is for the DSATs as well. It's a 3-year warranty, correct? Right.
Correct. Yes. Yeah.
Wonderful. Is there anything else you'd like us to know about Panthera today? Other than it's a great company and it's a Canadian company and we support it.
Yes, you're right. It is a Canadian company and we're very proud to be a Canadian company and service. I mean, obviously we're servicing the globe. It's not just Canada, but I mean, one of the things to be said about our company is, we have a great team behind us, from the management to the design team to the manufacturing team. Our support team in Quebec is a phenomenal team. I mean, there's nothing worse than having an issue and trying to get a hold of someone at support. We've all been through that with various products, but the support team in Quebec is phenomenal. So if you have any questions or concerns, or there's an issue with something in the production, the support team is really on top of it. So you're really always connected to your customer on our side. And that's important. As I said earlier, even with the scanners, support. So we're very, very big on support. And of course, David, I'm in the field as well. My background is I'm a dental technologist. I'm still an RDT. So I do a lot of consulting. There's always questions. So there's always someone around to answer your questions.
Right. Yes, I can vouch for that. And one of the benefits for me in talking to the folks in Quebec City is occasionally I get to practice my French a little bit, but they're very helpful. And so just in wrapping up, I want to thank you for coming to Ask the Expert series. For our members, you should know that because of COVID, we haven't been able to bring you to the experts, so we're bringing the experts to you virtually. So thank you very much, Andreas. Very helpful, lots of information. I just wish I was about 50 years younger so I'd understand all this stuff, but I'm still doing it. So thank you very much, and we look forward to talking to you again soon.
Thank you very much, David. I really appreciate the opportunity to showcase what we do, and we will continue supporting you and the dental industry, especially in the sleep industry. I mean, it's important for us, and I know it's important for you. So, I will give the contact details out after the presentation as well, which you might want to share with your members.
Right. Yes.
And if anyone has any questions, please feel free to contact me or the office.
You are always very approachable, my friend, and timely in your responses. So we appreciate that as well. And we'll support our Canadian company. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.